Great Are the Myths, a novel by Bergot. Disclaimer. Great Are the Myths is a work of fiction. While the narrative includes fictionalized portrayals of historical figures including Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and Cary Grant, these depictions are used solely for the purpose of a creative exploration of 1950s culture and the nature of public mythology. All characters, names, dialogue, and incidents involving these figures are products of the author's imagination and are not intended to represent factual historical records or biographical truth. This book is not authorized, sponsored, or endorsed by the estates of the individuals portrayed. Any resemblance to actual events or locales is intended to provide a fictional context for the story's themes. To all the boys I've loved before, but mostly my mother. Our journey is entirely imaginary. That is its strength. It is imaginary to the point of being real. Louis Ferdinand Céline, Journey to the End of the Night. Predestination. I wasn't sad to leave old Blighty behind for America. After all, I had been born there in the summer of '35. My American mother, nostalgic for her bucolic Southern girlhood, wanted me, her only daughter, delivered into the same world she and her mother before her had known. Before she became an English rose, Mother had been a Southern belle, an old money heiress, or as old money as one could be in a country like America. Unlike my older brother, Tom, the golden boy, wholly English in her eyes and part of the great British branch of the family, I was her true blue cherub. On her bedside table stood a photograph she was especially fond of, me running through the grass on chubby toddler legs in a white cotton dress with a lace collar, taken at the house in Tennessee, that almost mythical mansion that would one day become my home too. As a girl, I was of no real consequence to her English husband's family unless I married equal or up, ever less likely, given the king had only daughters. I was also too silly, in their estimation, to marry another duke. I was, in all respects, a child perpetually in the way. Eventually, my maternal grandfather wanted me home. After the war had taken the light from my parents' eyes and claimed my darling Tom in the autumn of '44, Grandpa George stepped in. He offered to take on the responsibility of raising me while my parents, swallowed by grief, drifted apart. I was 13. Grandpa George promised me opportunities I'd never have in a country as old-fashioned as England, where I'd either be married off, serving no purpose beyond the ornamental, or end up a spinster. And then what? What use would that life be? He would not allow me to live a pointless existence, nor one robbed of adventure. As Grandpa George saw it, Europe was a dying old girl. He knew I was mourning the loss of my greatest ally, Tom, 13 years my senior and the personification of everything that was right in the world. He had filled the house with fun whenever he was home from school. His absence left a void. The shadows of post-war Europe only deepened it. Grandpa George was right. I could do with a change of scenery. So when he said, "Come to America with me," I packed my trunk and said, "Aye, Captain." After some deliberation, my parents let him have his way. I was, after all, not the firstborn boy. I was just a girl. That meant I couldn't inherit the house, the land, or the family name, primogeniture and all that, much to my grandfather's chagrin, and so it was decided I would sail back to America with Grandpa George on the Queen Mary. He would change his will again, and this time, leaving me as his sole heir. I spent the passage to the New World reading Jeeves and Wooster aloud to him, making the old lion roar with laughter, and listening in turn to his tales of a life well lived, stories that filled me with excitement for the path I expected to clear for myself. I was foreseeing the building of my future on the shoulders of his past. When Grandpa George snapped in his cabin, I would take my favorite poets to the deck and ponder the great big everything as I felt the Atlantic cradle us onward into the unfamiliar. I was leaving England, grief, and austerity behind. I carried Dylan Thomas under my arm, letting him lead me into his world and dance me through his words. I savored each line, reading aloud from a deck chair, legs under a blanket, wind in my hair, eyes on the horizon, drawn to that vast greenish blue stretching endlessly forward. Under the windings of the sea, they lying long shall not die windily, and death shall have no dominion. I read poems from the New World, too, delighting in Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, poems that told me stories of America herself and in some strange way of me as well. Great are the myths. I too delight in them. Great are Adam and Eve. I too look back and accept them. Great the risen and fallen nations, and their poets, women, sages, inventors, rulers, warriors, and priests. Great is liberty. Great is equality. I am their follower. Helmsman of nations, choose your craft. Where you sail, I sail. Yours is the muscle of life or death. Yours is the perfect science. In you, I have absolute faith. A week later, we made landfall in New York. Grandpa George took me shopping for my first months in America, whirling between people, places, and things. Saks Fifth Avenue, our suite at the Pierre, dinner at the Colony. The sky disappeared beneath the towers until one afternoon, atop the Empire State Building, it returned, wide and open, stretching to the horizon. The magic in the air carried fresh promise. Beneath it, I could bury my sadness. After another voyage, this time by train across the vast American landscape, I arrived at that old and familiar mansion in Memphis, prepared for me by Grandpa George. There, with my new American nanny, I stood at the brink of my own Western adventure. It was to be a great big odyssey. I exhaled into a new kind of peace as I opened the windows and let the sun into my room. I had arrived. Blue moon, 1948 to 1956. Blue moon. You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon. You know just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me, the only one my arms will hold. I heard somebody whisper, "Please adore me." And when I looked to the moon, it turned to gold. Blue moon. Richard Rogers and Lorenz Hart. Chapter 1. My little friend. It's the first day at my new school, and I am bursting with excitement. Due to the sudden rush to find me a place, Grandpa George's girl Friday, who is actually an old and highly efficient lady called Bonnie, has enrolled me in a local state school in Memphis, not the sort of place I'm accustomed to. We'll find a more suitable option for the next school year, Grandpa George tells me. This will be a good experience for you, he adds. To me, it's all too thrilling. I will be meeting the kind of American salt-of-the-earth types I have only ever seen in the movies or read about in newspapers. I imagine them all to be Chicago wise guys like Al Capone. Perhaps I can fashion myself into a dame or a broad. Whatever I decide, I fully intend to become their fearless leader. Let the anthropological survey of the United States of America commence. I clasp my hands in joy and shout this, a little too enthusiastically, to my new nanny, Miss Mary, as she drives me to school. I will be starting in the American version and what they call the 8th grade. It's a dark, overcast November day in 1948, but to me the towering, Gothic-looking main building of Hume's High is bathed in sunshine and hallelujahs, the grass a vivid green and the sky a clear blue. You need to calm yourself down, Miss Birdie, Miss Mary tells me, sending me a reprimanding glance. And whatever you do, do not, and I repeat, do not, call anyone salt of the earth in conversation. She nods for emphasis. It will only set you further apart than you already are. I accept. She's probably making a lot of sense. I know nothing about making sense. I only make nonsense. Everyone says so. Yes, ma'am, I say in my best Southern drawl as I get out of the car. I am sure she is happy to see me go. I have been sending her mad all week, practicing various American accents on her as. I have eagerly settled into the new house and found my way around town. Miss Mary has told me in no uncertain terms that I must not do this out in the wild, that it will deliver me a bloody nose before my first lunch break. I should just relax and be myself, and not act like I am living in movie land. I can't help it, I reply matter-of-factly. I was made this way. I look at her. It's just the way it is. I say and shrug. Very well, Miss Mary sighs, but do try. she continues. And after that, you must try again. She asks if I would like for her to walk me in to meet the principal, but I tell her, no, thank you. I can find my own way into the principal's office. I can find my own way around this school. Of course I can. Hey, you, I say, dropping into the seat beside a blonde, unassuming-looking boy. Is this taken? No, ma'am, he replies politely. But I guess it is now. He smiles, then looks me up and down. This boy looks nothing like Al Capone. In a way, I am relieved that none of the kids here do. This one is cute. I immediately take to him, quickly forgetting my ambitions of becoming any sort of leader of anybody here. Who are you? He asks. Why, I'm Birdie Darling, of course. I flick my hair back performatively, like I am back in pretend movie land. You are going to love me, I tell him deadpan. I extend my hand for a formal introduction. He shakes it. Really? His eyes flick to mine, then dart away. He half chuckles. You can count on it, I say with a wink, opening my book like a real little know-it-all. I turn to face him again and smile. Hello, new city. Hello, winter term of the 8th grade. Then, glancing back again, I smirk, adding with dramatical flair, welcome to the winter of our discontent. He looks puzzled. Made glorious summer by this son of moi. I spread my fingers around my face and beam. It's a ridiculous performance, and I know it. He just stares, clearly not a Shakespeare buff. Can he even see the light I'm shining right at him? I mean me, I add deflated, for clarity. He nods, face turning red. I mean, your sad days are over. I'm here now to brighten them all. I have lost my momentum. Kinda figured, he mumbles, grinning. We both giggle. He forgets to tell me his name, and I'm too excited to ask. I sit with a group of new classmates outside of school, waiting to be picked up. Me by Miss Mary, the others by their parents. We are all scared of the bomb. We're pretty sure it's going to blow us all to smithereens. How long do you think it takes? One of the boys asks. Not long, says another, maybe a minute. We go quiet, each of us picturing it, bright flash, then nothing. I think of all the poor people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the children, wild nature, and animals too. I wonder what sort of grown-ups do things like that, and when I realize it is this kind, Americans, I shriek. Americans do horrible things in the name of freedom, of empire and progress, and to fight the Reds from the East who were once, not so long ago, our allies against the Nazis. I don't say any of this out loud. These people love being American too much. One boy says his daddy told him the Soviets are working on a bomb, and when they get it, it's only a matter of time. He snaps his fingers. Just like that. We all hope it won't happen, but we all feel like it might. I made a new friend. I announce to Miss Mary when I jump in the car. I wave goodbye to the group, smiling as though we've known each other forever. Well done, baby girl, she says, patting my knee. I knew you would. Everything will be plain sailing for you here. She smiles. Her gray eyes flick over me with approval as she pulls a gloved hand through her light brown updo, making sure every hair is in its right place, then returns her focus to me. Miss Mary isn't as old as the nannies I've had back in England. She isn't stuffy either. She's a proper American lady. I know. I smile. Thank you. As a treat for having survived my first day in the trenches of a new school, she takes me out for ice cream. I love Miss Mary. She's the best nanny I've ever had. And I've had it up to my ears in nannies. I can tell you that... Where are you from? My new friend asks during recess. Heaven knows. A whole other world, I reply, vague on purpose. I'm not sure why, it just seems easier that way. The less I say, the more likely I'll fit in. But I'm here now, I add, keeping my eyes down as I sketch in my notebook. Realizing I'm being rude, I glance up, smiling at him. The old world. I wave one hand in a theatrical swoop, dismissing the distant continent. You have an English accent. He prods, then gently mocks it. Bingo! I grin. You're sharper than you look. He guffaws. All this talk and focus on me is making me nervous. He squints as though he might ask more, but thinks better of it. I have a feeling he can sense that I am anxious and shy underneath all my bravado and fancy pants posturing, so instead he just says, "Here's looking at you, kid." That gets a laugh out of me. In my best Bogart, I shoot back. Of all the schools, in all the towns, in all the world, I just had to walk into yours. He gives my shoe a little nudge with his. The bell rings. "Get up, Bergman. We got class," he says. I reach up, offering my hand for him to pull me off the floor. "Thank you, my good man." He snorts in surprise. "You're welcome." Then, after a pause as we walk down the hall, he adds, "I don't reckon I ever met anyone quite like you." He says it like it slipped out, then glances sideways. I smirk. I'll take that as a compliment. He just shakes his head. He keeps sneaking looks at me in class. When I catch him, he flusters and looks down. A good sign, I think smugly. He loves me already. I don't blame him. I am almost too good to be true. Then I purse my lips with self-satisfaction and consider all my assets as a human being before my mind drifts off elsewhere. As we step into the hallway after class, we chat. "I think I'll just sit next to you in English from now on. Are you okay with that?" "If you got to." He smiles without wanting to. Then, with newfound confidence, he guffaws, the kind that comes from being around someone you refuse to take seriously. Good. I wink and stroll off down the hall. "See you tomorrow, kid." He waves and walks in the opposite direction. After a few steps, he turns around to take one last look at me before slinking off home. It's the darndest thing we've just started. It turns out we're both new in town, so we have that in common. We also both love to natter and are constantly reprimanded for talking in class, always threatened with being split up if we don't stop. We don't stop, and we are not split up. The teachers do not want to make things harder than they already are. New school, new city, all of it. But for me, it isn't hard at all. For me, it's the adventure of a lifetime. I'm happy as a clam. I love being in America. America is everything England isn't rich in everything that matters. Literature, music, movies, and stars. I'm in love with Cary Grant, who's really a poor boy from Bristol, but never mind. And I want to be like Katharine Hepburn, because she's just grand, isn't she? America. I can mingle with the sublime and the brilliant. America, you big ol' melting pot of promise. I am here to live in dreams. I am here for all of your magical worlds. Oh, America, I exclaim, clasping my hands to my 13-year-old chest. What adventures will you bring me? I swoon. I twirl down the corridor, looking up at the ceiling tiles as if they're a sky I need to reach, the boy trailing behind, not knowing whether to run or stay. I was born here, you know, I whisper to him in class, almost in secret. He looks stunned. You were? He asks. I nod solemnly. I tell him all about it, my life in England, part of the reason why I am here. After all that war business back home, you know, all that stuff, everyone thought it'd be good for me to come here for a while. He listens quietly. I'm living in a house my grandfather owns here in town, one of the places my mother grew up. And you know what? I kind of like it. I laugh. I kind of like it a lot. I realize I'm being too loud again, like a real-life lunatic. I tone it down. I look at the boy. He doesn't seem to mind. His face is full of questions. Are your folks here with you? He ventures. No. I say. Matter of fact, I'm here with my nanny, Miss Mary. She's wonderful. You'll meet her soon. But what about your mama and daddy? What about them? I reply, glibly. He's jogged me out of my American dream and back into the real world. I have Miss Mary, I say with a hint of petulance. He frowns, scratching his head, but doesn't press me further. I hop up suddenly. Miss, may I please go to the bathroom? Miss Prendergast nods. Thank you, miss, I say, then lean over his desk and whisper in his ear. You'll have to wait for the rest for another time. I can tell I am taking him by storm.